So welcome again, everybody. I'm Debbie George, one of the Dharma leaders. Happy to be here and happy you're here. And you guys in Zoom room. Let's take a moment now to wish each other well, just like smile at each other. Or you know what? Make a funny face. Like turn to each other and just like make like a Halloween face or something. Everybody, okay, in yoga, we do the lion. Everybody do the lion. Everybody go. Now turn and look at somebody. Hey, you guys, I can see you. Do it back to me. Good. I was like, how can we all feel really, really at home? How can we feel really at home here with each other and in our own lives, in our own little world? So tonight I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to give you guys a hint. So when I was practicing this talk, I had 5 minutes left and I got through 10%. So I'm laughing because this is a culmination. I just taught a 4-week class on the Brahma Viharas. And I thought, I'm just going to do an overview for my talk of this last 8-hour class. So don't recommend it. Anyway, the Brahma Viharas are a wonderful teaching embedded in the Buddhist teachings. I think of them really as almost like a superpower, because once we learn how to work with them, we can kind of just call them up. I want to say that, so the mother of the Brahma Viharas is loving kindness. And there's sort of 3 offspring, and that's compassion, joy for others, or empathetic joy, and equanimity, an even mind. So think of really, we're going to be practicing more with metta, with loving kindness. To parse out metta and compassion is, there's a difference, and I'm going to hope that we understand that. But I don't want you to think, oh no, how do I practice all these 4 things? So you're just really going to practice metta, and you're going to notice the arising of compassion, empathetic joy, and equanimity. So these are 4 qualities of our hearts. Let me give you some of the translation of Brahma Vihara. So 4 boundless qualities: sublime abidings, heavenly abodes. Is this a place that anybody wants to go? That's what I do. Jack Kornfield says, when these 4 are fully developed, you are experiencing optimal mental health. So that we can get behind too. So they're hiding in plain sight. They're like I say, in the Eightfold Path, embedded in the teachings. Once we start to learn how to work with them, there's so many benefits that we experience. A sense of safety and security. They're called you practice metta for protection. It actually gives you this sense of protection. Comfort and peace, of course, and just contentment, just noticing that, I just feel more content. I just feel more at ease. Even though things aren't going the way I thought they were going to go today, I'm okay. It's just sort of an awareness. Your blood pressure lowers, your heart rate lowers, your oxygen goes up because you're breathing more openly. You feel happier. And then overall sense of well-being. So no pills are required. You just begin to practice. one of the most important aspects on the path is right effort. Because right effort, along with mindfulness, mindfulness helps you recognize what is true in you, whether you're stressed, whether you're worried, whether you're at ease, whether you're content. And then we have a choice. We can do something if there's stress, if there's, So we learn to recognize when they're present, when they're absent, and when they're opposite. The negative states are present or absent, and then we can respond. So developing any skill takes time, right? We really need to bring patience and kindness. We're growing a habit. We're growing a new habit, a new way of being. But you're likely to see shifts early on when you start practicing daily with this, and even 5 minutes a day can make a huge difference. So we're gonna get to how we do that. But you might notice shifts early, and one of the most obvious that I've noticed, and you may notice, is your self-talk, the way you talk to yourself. You start to just become kinder instead of going, oh, knucklehead, oh, yeah, that wasn't, the way I wanted it to go, or, that didn't go well. Oh, well, you know. So I want to talk about the near enemy and the enemy of each, because that helps us understand each one a little better. So metta, of course, loving kindness, friendliness. The enemy, of course, ill will, hatred. And the near enemy is what kind of masquerades as metta, as loving kindness. And it's sentimentality or conditional love. So we might feel like, oh, I have metta all over the place for my significant other or my family member, but there's sort of a tit for tat going on. Okay, I'm doing this for you. And there's nothing wrong, but I'm just saying, when you recognize that, you can go, oh, maybe I can just be more unconditional in my loving. Karuna, compassion, the enemy is cruelty, and the near enemy is pity or overwhelmed. You have a sense of being overwhelmed. With everything going on in the world, who's not overwhelmed? But that doesn't give us energy. That doesn't give us, that doesn't put us in a place where we can make a difference. So compassion is a caring concern that others don't suffer. And the way we arrive at that is by knowing our own suffering. The way that pity is sort of like, oh, poor them. It's a denial of our own suffering, our own stress. So as we become softer, our edges soften through our practice, through sitting with our difficult emotions, our problems, our challenges in our lives, we naturally become more compassionate and more patient, forgiving of others. Mudita, joy, for empathetic joy. So the enemy is jealousy. Okay. And the near enemy is, it's sort of hypocritical praise. Like, oh, I'm really happy for you. I'm so happy for you. But really it's like, why couldn't that happen to me? What's it, why that, some ducks have all the luck, So, but we might not even be aware. We might think that we are having mudita. So it's what to watch out for. And upekkha, equanimity, the enemy is reactivity. So mental instability, just being reactive all the time, just reactive to what's arising externally and in the mind. And the near enemy is indifference. So we can say, oh, I'm pretty equanimous. I think I got this. But really, we're just being indifferent. I don't really care. And that's not equanimity. Equanimity has care, has metta. They all are imbued with loving kindness. Okay, so it's just a little. So there's some pitfalls, and actually, I want to share words by Aya Kema, a German. She passed maybe 10 years ago, German monk. She has her chapter, Four Friends. She says, we have four friends in our hearts waiting to do our bidding, but we also have enemies sitting there waiting to jump out at any given moment. They are never at rest. The problem is that we're not diligent enough to throw out the enemies and only cultivate our friends. To cultivate one's friends is a natural and sensible thing to do. Our friends are the four divine abidings: loving kindness, compassion, joy with others, and equanimity. These have to be searched for in our own hearts. When we find them lacking in ourselves and know this is to our own detriment, we begin doing something about their development. So just want to share some of the pitfalls that we run into. I know when I first was introduced to metta, I was like, no, not for me. It's too self-involved, and it's like butterflies and unicorns and rainbows, kind of like, let's just pretend everything's hunky-dory. And I was like, it felt fake and it felt selfish and also kind of hating on what I don't like feels pretty good. Hating can feel pretty good. I was like, no, I don't need to do that. So watch out for that. The Buddha said you can search the world over for someone more deserving of your loving kindness than yourself, and you will not find them. Compassion, on the other hand, this is, I mean, metta's for everyone too, but compassion is that quivering of the heart that we really want people to be free from harm, free from suffering, and ourselves, others and ourselves. So some of the things to watch out for when we want to develop compassion is these ideas of, it doesn't do any good. It's not going to make a difference. It's depressing to think of suffering. It's overwhelming, it's discouraging. So just watch out for that. Joy for others. Why can't good things happen to me? It's not fair. So I lack so much. How can I feel joy? Comparison is the death of joy. Clyde reminded me of that. We were talking. He said, I was happy with my car till I saw yours. I was perfectly happy with my ice cream flavor until I had a little taste of yours. So just kind of stay away from, guard against comparison. Equanimity. You know what? I know what I like. I know what I hate. No problem. I don't mind rolling between the two. Tolerance is too much work. Judging is satisfying. I'm used to the ups and downs, so I don't need to be even keeled. So just watch out for those. So keep in mind that the hindrances to meditation, so desire, sensual desire, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and worry, and doubt are all arising. They're all arising in our lives. So these are antidotes from the viharas. Okay, so how to cultivate them? Well, first of all, I also want to mention that you'll see them in the world. And when you start to practice, start in the morning with your loving kindness as part of your sitting practice, you kind of start to tune in. Like this morning, so I taught 4 classes in 24 hours, and had to set my alarm to go. I teach reading to a second grader. And my alarm woke me out of a deep sleep and I had to go. And I was so tired and I sat for 10 minutes to do metta. And first it was woe is me. Oh no, I have a, you know. And then the picture in my mind of this little second grade angel just popped in. And then her mother, who I've never met, she doesn't speak English. But the care, the love that's just so apparent that she has for this child, every little cell of her body, you just know she's deeply loved. So I started doing metta for her mother. And in 10 minutes sit, I had so much energy. I was just happy driving there. Now I didn't plan on that. I just planned to sit and do some metta, do some, and so this just pops up. This is kind of what happens. At the pharmacy a couple weeks ago, I was getting my shot, COVID shot, and this woman was at the front of the drug line, and I was in the vaccination line. And she said, "Oh no, I just saw that it was a Walgreens and I jumped off the bus and I thought I had money with me and I just don't have money." And the woman, a couple people down in that line said, I got her covered. So a little while later, that woman was walking by me and I said, "Oh, that was really kind of you. And the way you said it, I thought you really made her feel comfortable. And that was just so kind. And I wanted to mention it." And she said, "And guess what? When I got to the window to pay, the guy in front of me had already paid for." So this feeling, it was just like it stayed with me. And when you see these things in the world, you can remember them while you sit. You bring to mind evidence in the world of kindness, and you realize it's not all bad, doom and gloom that's going on. There's so much goodness going on in the world. Compassion makes us really feel connected with each other as we know our struggles, and we wish others to be relieved of theirs. Mudita, joy, you can see it all over in the world. There's one teacher says all she has to think about is someone popping the question to somebody, "Will you marry me?" I mean, that's like a powerful question to ask somebody. "Will you marry me?" And I do. And now she just thinks of I do. And she's filled with mudita, with joy. So those are some of the ways we can turn it on. I have a whole list. Like I said, I can't give you the whole talk. But The Voice, I don't know, some of you watch The Voice. It's a guilty pleasure. Don't tell anybody. But it's people get up there and it's a blind audition. You can't see them, and a lot of them they're rural. They've never been on a plane. And they are, singing, and it just fills me with joy. Equanimity is this patience and tolerance for conditions. We don't always like the conditions. Sometimes we're cold, sometimes we're hot, sometimes we're hungry, sometimes we're too full, sometimes we're sad, and sometimes we're happy, and this phrase, "May I ride the waves of my life. May I live in peace no matter what I'm given." Because we're given things all day long. So we want to cultivate this kind of evenness of mind and this kind of tolerance for when things aren't the way you'd like them to be. Because that's going to happen. Okay, let's do a little practice. Let's get comfortable. So what I want to do, a lot of people, so with metta, we use phrases. Typically the 4 areas: safety. We start with ourselves. May I feel safe. And then it's happy or content. And then it's healthy. And then it's free free from stress, suffering, whatever you want to use the word. So what I want to do tonight, something a little different. I want you to personalize. So I'm gonna say safe, may I feel safe? And by the way, we're not gonna do the metta at the end, like we do every time, we're doing it now. So we'll go a little longer. Um, so I want you to bring your own specific wishing. When I say, may I feel safe, you can repeat that, may I feel safe, and then bring in whatever. May I feel safe in this situation with this person, in this upcoming situation, in these thoughts, in whatever, okay? And then I'll offer happy or content. And then you bring in, just open your heart. It's kind of like popcorn, the popcorning. Just see what pops up in you and just let it all in, okay? Because you're not, nobody can do it wrong. Nobody can do this wrong. Okay, so let's settle in. Just do this for about 5 or 6 minutes. And close your eyes if you like, or look, maybe gaze downward. Just take a nice, delicious breath. May I feel safe. And specifically, may I feel secure in these ways. And then just repeat as you're ready, may I feel safe. May I be content. May I be happy. Specifically, here and now, may I be truly content. May I be healthy in body and mind. Specifically, may I be healthy. May I be healthy and strong. And may I be free, specifically free from may I be free. And bring to mind someone or group as I wish these for myself. I wish you safety, protection. I wish you contentment, ease. I wish you health in body and mind. And I wish you free from stress, from suffering. Now I'm just gonna finish up with a few words of conclusion. I actually wrote this out as my kind of my thesis. And later on, I realized, no, that's the conclusion. So life is difficult for everyone, whether, I mean, there's different gradations. But we meet challenges. We all have challenges. The Buddha taught suffering and its end, and stress and the end of stress or suffering. So there's the 8 worldly winds. So there's pleasure and pain, praise and blame, gain and loss. Thea spoke about loss last week. Fame and ill repute. So this is the 8 worldly winds. It's a whole teaching. It's for another night, but we all experience all of this. We all are facing the same end. So we don't really know where that is. So we are really walking each other home. We're subject to illness, aging, and death. I don't have to convince you guys that life's challenging, right? We all share this fate. And we all share that we want to be happy. No matter how grouchy anybody is, hurt people tend to hurt people. We all want to be happy. These Brahma Viharas are medicine that heals us. The Buddha enjoined us to cultivate this medicine, the qualities of the heart that provide us protection, more peace, more ease, and then we can be helpful to the rest, to the world. We can take this open heart out. and be actually helpful. So thank you so much for listening, for your attention. Thank you. And for your practice.